Welcome down to Tenby Point. After the awful conditions of yesterday at Dogs Rocks and not really being able to photograph anything of any great worth, I've decided just to pop out middle of the day. One time you're not supposed to shoot, especially long exposures, especially with hardly any heavy cloud in the sky. I'm going to take a few shots of the good old Tenby Tree. Along with Dogs Rocks, this is probably, those two are my favourite trees here in Victoria. There's a lot of character, it's a beautiful shape, and so that's what we're going to take. I've just dug out my 15 stop that I was using yesterday, and I don't know what's happened, but there's a scratch, a huge scratch right across it, so I can't use that, and so I'm going to have to dig deeper and pull out my 20 stop, but I'm not sure whether this will actually work or not. We'll give it a go. Lock that focus, of course. I'm going to pop this 20 stop on. As I said, it's about 40th of a second. I have absolutely no idea what that will be once I put this on with a 20 stop, but I'm going to use the Nisi. Doesn't look like 20 stops to me, but we'll take it as read that it is 20 stops. I'll use the Nisi app. I'll put it to 40 of a second, put it to 20 stop, and it's saying about 7 minutes. I don't want that long. I'm going to drop it from F16 to F13, and I'm going to give it 4 minutes. I have to say I'm missing the 15 stop. I'm tempted to just drop it down to the 10 and put a 3 in and go for 13. This 20 is a completely different kettle of fish to the 15. I feel like a beginner having to start again with thinking about how to use this filter. So the high dynamic range of this shot is confusing the hell out of this camera in terms of metering. I ended up with a couple of completely black images. So what I've done is I've doubled the time to 8 minutes. I've gone to F11 from F16. I put the ISO up to 640, and we'll see if this will work. Concentrating with the tree on the right hand third, and the water, and of course the sky dominating the rest of the scene. So hopefully, fingers crossed, this one will work out. So we have you may have noticed that there's a decided lack of B-roll for two main reasons. One is to conserve battery because I'm out all day on the GoPro, so I can continue to photograph and take you along with me. And the second is really I needed both hands and concentrate on this little stretch. It's a high tide and I'm scrambling around rocks and over little fallen trees, so that's the main reason why there's no B-roll. So forgive me. This is that little jetty, or the ruins of a jetty that are sadly neglected in favour of its larger cousin round the corner. I just love this little thing. Yeah, that sun's about to go behind that cloud, so I'm going to move quickly because that cloud is moving at a pace, and I want to get a couple of shots while that's away. And this water's still coming in. I checked the tide and it didn't say it was going to be this high. I'm going to focus on the little jetty points, and that's giving me a reading of 1/100th of a second. Somehow I don't believe that, but we're going to take that just as our test shot. I'm going to check it, check for any blown highlights. 10 stop says 10 seconds, 13 stop 1 minute 2, 16 is giving us 10 minutes. If I increase the ISO just a touch to 200, that gives us a 6-minute exposure. So I'll drop the ISO down just a touch. 160 gives us an 8-minute exposure, so we'll go with that very quickly while that sun's hidden behind that cloud. It's exactly what I wanted. Okay, change of position, as you can see, shooting down this little jetty, and this tide is just coming in like you would not believe. We don't have to call it here after this shot and make our way back. We are really going to have to scramble up some banks on the way back, but it's really well worth the effort to get here. I'm just going to check because there's a lot of splashing going on. So I'm just going to pop my head forward in between these bloody non-stop waves. Quieter one. Yeah, that's okay. Otherwise I'd have to get the blower out and try and clear that away. No, it's turning out to be, well, dull and grey, but perfect for long exposure. There's a slight green tinge to this water. I think a lot of it is to do with this green grass and weed that has been dragged through, but it's very pretty. It is what it is. We take the conditions we're given and we work within that. So at the moment I'm really pushing the boat out with an 8-minute exposure here. I want to try and see what we can create with these clouds. There we go, they're gone. Yes, the clouds actually moving left to right. I would have loved for them to come either towards us or away from us to accentuate the converging lines of this jetty. But I'll take the movement over clear blue skies any day. The water as normal will be milky and almost non-existent, so another splash and another splash. Let's keep an eye on those splashes on the front of that front filter and take them off as we go. It's a very, very big splash on the front. Oh, I'm not sure That was a good idea. We may need to run this one again. How those splashes have reached so high is beyond me. That's done. Beautifully in focus. Nice. Thanks very much for joining me here today. Just straighten up our camera. There we go. I hope you've enjoyed this little spot here. So a black and white adventure really. Daytime exposure, combating highlights, scratching my 15 stop. That'll have to go in the bin. Trying to use a 20 stop. Probably failed on that. We'll see. You'll know. So that's it from me from this little episode. I hope you've enjoyed it. If you have and it's your first time here, then please consider giving us a like, a comment, and subscribe, and you'll never miss this sad old face every Sunday. But yes, so no Rafi. He's back in South Australia being looked after because we're here in the state of Victoria. So it just leaves me to say thank you very much for joining me. Wherever you are, please stay safe, look after you, your loved ones, and till the next episode, see ya.